Tana's live search is incredibly powerful for finding exactly what you need when you need it. But most users that I talk to are so intimidated when they open up the live search box thinking it's way too complex. But in reality, you actually only need to learn a few simple combinations to build some powerful searches that will help you surface everything you need in Tana. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a masterclass in live searches. I'll show you how to start a live search, where to start a live search, and everything you need to know about live searches. I'll then talk about the only 3 types of live searches that you need to know to create the most advanced searches. And then I'll give you some little tips I've learned along the way that will make you go, what the heck? But before we jump in, if you don't have time to watch endless YouTube tutorials and you just want to build a high-performing digital workspace that works harder than you do, then check out my Tana Fast Track course. It'll get you up and running in Tana fast. First, you'll learn all the fundamentals in less than 1 hour. Next, you'll choose from our 6 core workflow templates that are simple plug and play. There are not 86 super tags to install that you'll never use. You choose what templates you need to customize your workflow. And you'll also have our TFT community to ask questions and get direct help from me, plus a load of other resources. Over 500 people have already taken Tana Fast Track and loved it. So if you want to get on the Tana Fast Track, I'll leave a link in the description below, and let's get into the video. Let's talk first about how you create a live search. So when you're on any node in Tana, you can create a live search anywhere. Okay, so on any node, just type ? And you'll see this box come up, create search node, and all you have to do is click it. That's going to get you into the live search box and able to create these searches. Okay, now what you're seeing here is in this box here, you can add all of the different components of your search. So if you're searching for all of your tasks, you're going to add that in here. If you're searching for all of your tasks that have a status of something, then you're adding that here. So you add all of your combinations that you need to make up your live search in this box here. Now, down the bottom here, what we have is all the different types of things that you can add to the box. So you've got things like and, or, and not, which you can combine together. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later in the video. What we call search operators. So these are things that you can add to your search, like less than or greater than searches. You can have things that are linked to something else, children of something else. So there's a whole lot of different things in here. I'm not going to go through every single thing. All I'm doing is going to show you today the things you actually need to build useful searches. Then you've got different tag types. So these are all your base tag types, and you can search for all of your tags that have a tag type of meeting or that have a tag type of task, that kind of thing. You've got in here different field values. So this is where we find our field values like parent, grandparent, for relative date, if something is set in a field, not set in a field, and I'll go through a lot of those today. These are all really helpful. And then you also have a bunch of system fields that you can actually look at. So things like created time, last edited time, the owner node, number of references, those kinds of things. Okay, so there's a lot of different things there, and that's why I want to in this video just talk about the 3 types of searches that I tend to use on a daily basis that help me find a majority of my things. And then the last thing that you see is kind of down the bottom here. So this is what I call the breadcrumb. It's not actually called that by Tana, but I call it the breadcrumb. And it shows you what the search is going to look like. So at the moment, it's looking for tagged task and task status incoming. Okay, so it gives you just a little glimpse into have I created this right or wrong. And then you have 2 buttons. So one that is run once, which when you press it actually runs the live search. And then the second is done, which closes the box. Okay. All right, so like I said, there's really only 3 types of searches that you need to create most of the searches in Tana, and I'm going to go through each of them today. So the first one is what I call the filter search. So this is something that you just saw me do, looking for all the tasks that have a field of task status that is in progress or that is complete. So you might have a whole lot of different searches where you're searching for things like that. All the projects that are in progress, all your notes that are open. So we're looking for a super tag, and then we're looking for a field where we can filter things on. So now the easiest way to create any of these searches is to actually write it out in normal, natural language, okay? So let's say that I want to find all of my personal projects that are in progress, okay? I'm looking for my tag of project, okay? So tag project. I'm looking for, because it's my personal projects, I'm looking for my area to be personal, okay? And then I'm also looking for the task status to be in progress. And this is how, especially when you start to get, this is an easy search, but when you start to get more complex searches, this is the way to kind of think through, okay, what am I looking for? Once you've done that, then we can create our search. So with a filter search, let's create our box. So question mark, create search node. I always tend to put the tag in first, but it doesn't matter what order you have things in. Okay, so if I need to search for my tag, hashtag, and then I'm looking for project. Okay, now within my project super tag, I have different fields. So one of those is area and one of those is task status. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about when I was talking about the search box is this here, and, or, and not. Now we're going to get into the ors and the nots and all of the advanced, fun stuff. But what you have to know here is in this box, everything that you put in is an and. Okay, so we're looking for project and we're looking for area personal. So to add a field in this box, just type shift period and you get a field. And then you want to type the name of the field that you have in your project super tag. So let's go area. And you can see I've got area in project. And so I'm looking for personal. And then I'm also looking for, so this is another and, okay, I'm looking for the task status of in progress. So I want to do another field and call this, this is project status and in progress. Okay, and then I run once and that shows me if there's anything that comes up. Now I've hit that and there's nothing that's come up. But if I do create a personal project, that is a project where the area is personal and the project status is in progress, and I run once again, you can see that that just comes up there, okay? And if I go done, then I've got here, personal, in progress, projects, all right? And so that's kind of a fairly common search that you're going to do in Tana, where you're finding like a super tag and then some kind of filters through the fields that you have. All right, so the second type of search that you're going to use in Tana is date-based searches, and there are a few of these, okay? Now, it's really important to know that when you are working with dates, and say you want to find everything that is coming up in the next week, right? Now, there's two different ways that you can do this. If you're on a page that is not a calendar node, so it's not a day node, it's not a week node, it's not a month node, it's not a year node, then you need to use the relative date search. If you are on a calendar node, then you're going to want to use a parent search, which is a little bit different. So let's talk relative date first, and then we'll go into parent. So let's say again, now, this is a relative date search. So let's say we're not on our day page or week page or anything, but we do want to find all the events that are coming up in the next week. Okay. So again, we want to break this down. So we're looking for our super tag, which is events. So our tag is event, right? Then we're looking at the date field because we want to find all of the super tags with event that have a date field coming up in the next week. So date next week. Okay, so let's create the live search. So question mark, create search node. Now, firstly, we're looking for the tag. So my event tag is called meeting. We're going to find that. And then we're looking for the date field that's in the meeting tag because we want to see it this week. So shift period, we're looking for the date field. You want to find the date field that's in your super tag. Mine's called date master. Then in this box here, you're not going to press space and choose a date or anything like that. You're going to write the words for relative date, and then you're going to write this week. All right, now what you see happen down here is you see relative date is this week, which equals 2025 week 22, which is this week. Now, if it was next week, now imagine we're in the future next week, then we would be seeing this week 2025 week 23. So it's a relative date to the current date, all right? Not the date of the page that you're on, like not tomorrow. It's the relative date to today. Now, if I run once, I can see all of the meetings that are coming up. What you can also do is things like you can replace this week with today. All right, and I just see my meetings for today. You can also replace this with yesterday if you want to see yesterday's meetings. You can replace this with next week. Okay, you can replace it with last week. So there's a whole lot of different things. So this week, last week, today, yesterday, this month, last month, all those kinds of things, right? You can't do 2 months from now, not available. So, and the way to kind of understand this is, or to know kind of what you have is, if we remove this and we just see all of our meetings, if you come up to your options and filter by your date, you can see all the options here. Okay, so all these relative periods are periods that you can put in the relative date search. So for relative date, this month, next month, last month, this year, next year, last year, all of those combinations. Okay, relative date searches are a great way if you're not on a date page to be able to see what's coming up. So I use a relative date search for my focus hub, which is where I organize all of my tasks and projects. And I have a relative date search for all of my tasks that are coming up this week, or all of my tasks that are due today. So all of those are relative date searches, and they're really, really handy for any time you're working with dates that you're not on a calendar page. But let's talk about when you are on a calendar page. So let's say you're on your day page and you want to find all the tasks that are due today. But when you go to tomorrow's day page, you want to find all the tasks that are due tomorrow. So let's do that. All right, so on the day page, if we want to find all the tasks that are due today, let's write it out in our plain language. So I am looking for all tasks that are due today. All right, so again, super tag is tasks, and the date is today, which we're going to use as parent. All right, so let's create our search. Question mark, create search node. First thing to do is to add your super tag. So we're looking for tasks. The second thing to do is add your field for date. Okay, mine is master. And then instead of here for relative date today, because if we type for relative date today here, when we go to tomorrow, it's still going to find today's, right? So we want to type in here instead parent. Now, the way to understand this is basically when we type in parent in a search node, it's looking for whatever is the next node up, the parent node. So in a day page, your parent node is the date, right? So if I go run once, now I don't have any that are due today. So let's go new task. Okay, and let's say this was due today. And I run once, then you see this task come up. But then if I go to tomorrow, that will look for tomorrow's tasks. Now, usually for a search like this, you're going to create this in your super tag default content or in your related content. So those are two places where live searches really work well, or these parent live searches work well to find things that are related to a specific day. And then every new day that you create, you're going to see that specific live search change depending on what the parent is. Okay, so if you wanted to add something like this where you've got today's tasks, then all you have to do is come over to your day super tag, right click and press configure. Let's open this up in a different panel. So option shift and click the super tag to open this in another panel. And then all you have to do is just drag this into your default content section. What that means is it's going to come up on every single day page. So if I come here, I've got today's tasks, but if I go to tomorrow, that task doesn't show up because it's not due tomorrow, it's due today. You can also move these into your related content section, which is in your advanced options. So all the way down here, you can have your parent searches here in related content so that they show up at the side. It's totally personal preference whether you want it in the main page or in related content. Now, the third kind of date-based search is the LT and GT searches. This basically allows you to either search within a date range or like anything that is less than today or anything that is greater than today, those kinds of searches. So let me show you how they work. All right, so let's do this first one. So let's say you want to find all of your tasks that are overdue. Okay, so anything that has a date that is less than today, basically is what we're looking for. So if we come in here, we can type our question mark and create search node. Again, we're looking for our task super tag. So task. And then usually what we're doing is typing here and going our date master. But what we want to do is find anything that is less than that date. So we need another field in here, which is the LT field. So if we type shift period and we just type LT, you'll see LT come up. Now, the other way to get this to come up is if we go search operators and LT, right? And then you can either create a field inside this field or just drag our date in. Okay. And then depending on where you are, now if you're not on a day page or a calendar page, then you need to type for relative date today or this week or this month or that kind of thing. Or if you're on a day page, you can type parent. Okay. But only if you're on a day page can you do that. So for this one, we're going to go for relative date today. All right. You can see this coming up down here. It's looking for today. And then we go run once. And so that's finding all of the tasks that are less than, that have a date that are less than today, which is all our overdue tasks. Okay. Now, if you wanted to find all the tasks for your future, you could do that. And so that is with the GT field. Move date master into here. And then it's looking for any tasks that are due in the future. Okay. So anything that is greater than today in the date field. And you can use combinations of this, right? So if you wanted to find anything that is less than today, let's say date master for relative date today, right? But you want to find anything that is greater than, let's say, last month, right? So we would do this, right? So, and you can see down here, right? Oops. That's not right. Last month is looking for anything that is from April, so greater than April, but anything that is less than today. And if I go run, it's going to just find those two tasks. So you can combine these together to create time periods that you want to find things. And again, if you are on a day page, you don't need to use relative date. You can use parent, and then you can use your LT and your GT things. Now, very last date search is when you are on a calendar page, you can use parent plus or minus numbers. Okay, so let's say I want to find everything that was due in the last 7 days. Okay, so instead of using for relative date, last week, that kind of thing, what we can do instead is create a search like this. Okay, so if we create a search node, we're looking for task, then we're looking for the date field. Okay, so we're looking for date master, and we're looking for parent. Okay, -7. Okay, no space. And then you can see here that it's looking, now pay attention to this, it's looking for anything that is a task that was due last Monday. Okay, so it's not finding everything within this week, right? And this is where you can add your combination of greater than and less than. Okay, so let's say I want to find everything within the last week on a parent page. So what I would do is I would have anything that is less than, so LT, then my date master, and this is going to be parent because it's today. Okay, so it's finding anything less than today. And then we're going to use our GT field, all right, to find anything that is greater than 7 days ago. Okay, so now it's looking for less than today, and it's looking for greater than 7 days ago. And so if I run that, it'll find anything within that time period. And if I go to tomorrow, it'll find anything that's less than tomorrow, but greater than 7 days before tomorrow. Okay, so those are very helpful. The minus and the plus, you can use the same. Like if I want to find everything within the next 7 days, I can do plus instead. And it's just combinations of those kinds of things. So as you can see, date-based searches are phenomenal and you can do so much with them. And it's just about combining different things together to find exactly what you need. So let's talk about the third kind of search, which is the parent search. But this is the kind of parent search that is not based on dates. Okay, so the main place that you're going to use these parent searches are in related content. So let's say that you have a project and you want to find all of the tasks that are related to that project. So in this case, we have courses and we have materials. So in one of your super tags, you're going to have a options from super tag field that relates the course to a material. Okay, so let's say the related materials is Psychology 101. Okay, then in materials, we want to see the course that this is related to. So in our materials super tag, we would create a search. So you've got your two super tags. You've got one that has a related field with an option from super tag, and the other that has a related search, which is a parent search. Okay, so let's write this out in natural language so we understand what we're looking for. So I want to find all the courses that Psychology 101 relates to. Okay, so let's open up our search box. We're looking for a tag first. Okay, so let's put this up here. We're looking for the course tag, all right? And then we're looking for the field related material is this one. Okay, so let's do this. So we're looking for our super tag, which is course. Then we're looking for in the course super tag, field related material. And then we're going to type parent, okay? And so you can see down here, right, because we are in Psychology 101, it's looking for Psychology 101. So if we go run, it's going to find that, okay? So this is then related courses. And then if I have another course, let's say Psychology 202, okay? And in this course, I also have to read this. Then you can see that then you're starting to see all the things that are related. So in this case, you need a options from super tag field in one super tag, and you need a related parent search in another super tag. And these kind of parent searches work best, again, same as the date-based ones, either in your super tag default content or in your related content. So if we open up materials, so option shift click, and let's say we don't want to add it to our content template. Let's say we want to add it to our related content. So we just come in here, move it in, and then now you can see related courses come up at the side here. And that's all you have to do. Okay, so these kind of parent searches are really helpful when you want to find things that are related. That's why we use them in related content. That's why we use them in our super tag default content, because it helps to just find things really easily that are related. All right, so lastly, let's talk about and, or, and not, because I think these are the things that get most people tripped up when it comes to live searches. So let's open up a search box and let's explain this. So basically everything that is in this search box here is an and. But what happens if you want to find this or that? Or this and not that? Here's how you do that. So if you want to find, let's say you want to find tasks or events, right? What your brain is going to want to do here is to go or, okay, task, and then it's going to want to go or an event. And that would be incorrect, okay? The way that this works is everything that is in this box here is an and. Everything, as soon as you add an or, everything that is in this box here is an or. Okay, so if I want to find everything that is a task or an event, let's not get that confused, or a meaning. Okay, I type everything that I want, like the both or options, or if there's three or options, I type them in this box. So if I go run once, I'll find all the tasks and all the meetings, right? So it's looking for all. So sometimes it's a bit hard to get your head around, but let's say I want to find of my tasks or my meetings, right, due in the next week. Okay, so I'm looking for, these are my or options. Okay, I want to find all of my tasks or my meetings. But I then also want to add an and, which is already here, right? We don't have to add another and box. Let's say we want to find them due in the next week. So we need to add our field, date, right? And then let's say I'm not on my day page, so it's for relative date this week, okay? And you can see down here, right? We're seeing what's happened. So we're looking for tagged task or tagged meeting, and date master is this week. And if I run that, I'm finding all of the tasks or the meetings that are due this week, okay? Now, let's say I don't want to include personal tasks. So then all I have to do is come down here and go not. Okay, so add a not. And then in here, I would have a field, which is area and personal. All right. So then this is searching for anything that is a task or a meeting. Okay, because everything's in this or box. We're looking for anything that, and it has a relative date this week, but it's not the personal area. And if I run that, I remove that. Okay. So that's kind of how you start to combine all of those different things together to create some of those really advanced searches. All right, so let's say that you want to find all the tasks that don't have a current date. Okay, so the date is not set. So to do that, we can use @NotSet or @set. So if we create a search box, we have, let's say task, then our field, okay, date master. And rather than type for relative date or parent, what we instead want to do is go and then say not set. Okay. And so if I go run once, I'll find all of the tasks that don't have a date set. Or if I wanted to find all the tasks that do have a date set, I would just go @set. Okay. And I'd find those. So that they're really handy if you want to find fields that are empty or not empty. Okay. Now the other kind of thing that works with task super tags is done and not done. Okay. Or actually this works for anything that has a checkbox. Okay. So let's say I want to find anything that is not done. Okay. And then run that. Or if I want to find anything that is done, I just go done and I wouldn't find anything. Okay. You can also find everything that has, if you go to do, anything that has a checkbox. So if you have different checkboxes on your day pages, you want to find all of your checkboxes, you can do things like that. So now that we have really dived into all the live searches, finally, I just want to talk about where you can actually create live searches. Now, firstly, you can create them on any node that you're on. And sometimes I'm on my day page, I want to find a whole heap of stuff. I just quickly bring up a live search, find it, and kind of use searches like that. But mostly, you're going to be creating live searches that you want to see constantly. Okay, so create live searches in your home node. So if you come up the top here, you can create any live searches in here, and then they will come up if you open up your workspace in the sidebar. Okay, so that's really handy for searches that you want to access all the time. You can, like I showed you, create searches on your related content sections or in your super tag default content. So if I open up my projects, you can see I've got related tasks in here. You can see I've got completed tasks. They're all searches that are in the related content section. And then finally, you can create searches within your super tag pages. So if I click on my task super tag, I've got a search, okay, that is searching for everything that is task. Let's say I want to search for everything that is not done. Okay, I can add a view, all right, as a list, and then I can open up the search here, and then I can say here, not done. Okay, I can run that and done. And then I just go incomplete. Okay, so you can create as many searches as you want on your task super tag page. It's a great place to create searches because it's easy to get to and find all of your searches again. I hope that after the end of this masterclass, you feel more confident to build your own live searches in Tana. And if you want some more help, I put together a handy live search cheat sheet that you can install in Tana to help you when you're creating those live searches. So I'll leave a link in the description below. And don't forget, if you want to build a smart digital workspace that works harder than you do, the link for Tana Fast Track course is in the description. And if you want more Tana content like this in your feed, then you should like and subscribe to the channel.